Sharon Toomer, who's a journalist at blackandbrownnews.com. Sharon is a former executive director of the National Association of Black Journalists. Thank you so much for joining us, Sharon. Listen, before we talk about the difficulties that journalists have had in covering the protests that have been taking place and how they seem to have been targeted, there are more than 100 documented cases, aren't there, of journalists being attacked by police while covering the protests. Talk to us as an African-American woman and how you're feeling.
Exhausted. I share this exhaustion of the constant. It's a continuation. This is one of many. George Floyd follows a long, long line of police killings of Black people. And so this just happened, within the last 2 months, we've had 3 cases on top of a pandemic that disproportionately affects Black people, Latinos, American natives. So it's just this onslaught of offenses and deadly ones. So I would say exhausted, frustrated, and we need a solution to this continuous problem.
And Black
Thanks
Americans are saying, this is, of course, you've indicated it yourself, but they're saying this has been going on for hundreds of years. I mean, well before the Declaration of Independence in the 1770s. So where do we go from here?
Good question. Where do we go from here? You know, we keep repeating this. So, and who knows, next week we may have another shooting or killing. I've long since reached the point where I think this gets, there's a solution in accountability. Holding our elected representatives accountable for their part in enabling and emboldening this country's law enforcement when it comes to its policing of Black communities. So I've noticed that, you know, in there's this like hands off, or as if elected representatives, I'm very distinct about that, elected representatives who are part of this system. This is police departments are not independent agencies. They have oversight. They have systems of checks and balances. And those systems of checks and balances have failed our community. That's where I think the resolution is.
Okay, Sharon, tell us about the experience of journalists who have been covering now 8 days of, 7 days, I should be exact, because George Floyd died on Monday the 25th, and then on the 26th in Minneapolis, the protests began, and they've now become nationwide. There have been so many cases of law enforcement appearing, it seems, to specifically target journalists. Is it too easy to say that Donald Trump continuing to call the media the enemy of the people has made, as far as law enforcement is concerned, journalists to be fair game? What's going on?
Oh, I think he's definitely degraded the press corps. We see it every single day in his press briefings, the way he engages with our press corps. He targets journalists of color. I'm not saying exclusively, but he definitely, especially towards Black women journalists. And so he, again, uses his platform to degrade the Fourth Estate. We need the press here to hold these institutions accountable. And so, yes, this adds to this this almost permission to treat press in a way that does not allow us to do our job. The arresting of, remember Omar Jimenez, the CNN reporter, here yesterday when he took the walk, when Trump took the walk from the White House to St. John's Episcopal Church, there's a police officer to move protesters out of the way. It wasn't only shooting, but one of the police officers actually pushed a member of the press corps. And it wasn't a push like just move. He actually assaulted him. That's what it looked like to me. So yeah, I definitely think his bully pulpit, him using his platform to do what he does. He just instigates. Yeah.
Sharon, thank you for talking to us. That's Sharon Toomer, a journalist at blackandbrownnews.com.